I stayed late at the office again. Everyone else had left hours ago. The floor was quiet, and the only sound was the low hum of fluorescent lights above me. My screen glowed at my lonely desk, surrounded by the stillness of a dead building. I got up to stretch. My back cracked. The air felt colder than it should have. I decided to grab something from the break room, just a short walk down the hall, but something felt wrong. The hallway seemed longer than usual. Same gray carpet, same white walls, but the break room door was gone. Instead, there was a wooden door I had never seen before. Old, cracked. No sign, no handle, just slightly open. I stared at it. I've worked here for over a year. I know that door doesn't belong. Maybe it's just a supply closet. Maybe I'm just tired. I stepped closer and reached out slowly. I pushed the door open. Darkness. Dry, stale air hit my face. I stepped inside and the door slammed shut behind me. I was no longer in the office. The walls were yellow. The carpet was wet. The lights above me buzzed too loud, almost like they were alive. Endless, repeating rooms stretched out in every direction. No furniture, no signs, just the sickening squish of damp carpet beneath my shoes. I turned around. The door was gone. I started walking and walking. The buzzing of the lights drilled into my skull. Every hallway looked exactly the same. I tried to mark a wall with my key. Seconds later, I passed another hallway with the same exact scratch. Then I heard it. Footsteps, behind me. Soft, bare. Following, I turned nothing. I kept moving faster now. The air was thick, like breathing through a wet towel. And then came the whisper, "Don't run." Right next to my ear, I froze. A cold breath brushed the back of my neck, but there was no wind here. No vents, no windows. My heart pounded. I started walking faster, then running. The buzzing grew louder, distorted like static. I turned left, then right, again. My legs wouldn't stop. It felt like something was chasing me, just behind me, just outside my vision. I turned a corner and stopped. Another door, not like the first. This one was metal, black. Above it, painted in red letters. Backroom. My hand shook as I reached for the handle. Behind me, the footsteps stopped. So did the buzzing, silence. Then a voice, so close it felt like it came from inside my head. "You found it." Do I open the door? I don't even remember choosing, but I turned the handle. The door opened into darkness, and something opened its eyes. I stepped through the door and was swallowed by darkness. For a moment, nothing. Then a faint glow appeared ahead, like a dying ember flickering weakly in the void. I moved forward, each step echoing unnaturally in the silence. The air was thick and cold, heavier than before, pressing against my lungs like a wet blanket. The walls were no longer yellow, but a deep, rusted metal. Pipes groaned overhead, leaking cold water onto the cracked floor. Shadows stretched and twisted, as if the corridor itself was alive, breathing around me. My skin prickled with a terrible awareness. I was not alone. Then I heard it, a low whisper just behind me. Not words, but a sound like the rustling of dry leaves or soft scratching on concrete. I spun around, heart hammering. Nothing, only darkness. I forced myself to keep walking. Every step felt like wading through molasses. My breath came out in ragged gasps. Suddenly, the hallway opened into a wide chamber. The walls were covered in strange symbols, scrawled hastily in some dark, unknown ink. They pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat. At the center, a door hung crookedly on rusted hinges. It was marked simply with a symbol I recognized from nightmares, a spiral descending into itself. I didn't want to open it, but I had no choice. Behind me, the whispering grew louder, more urgent. "Come back, come back." I pressed my palm against the cold door. It swung open with a shriek. Inside was a room filled with mirrors, endless reflections stretching into infinity. But the images were wrong. My reflection twisted, warping into something grotesque. The eyes bled darkness. The mouth opened in a scream that echoed in my mind. I stumbled back, clutching my head. When I looked again, the mirrors were empty. A voice came from nowhere. You cannot escape. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. Panic surged. I ran. Corridors twisted and doubled back on themselves. No matter where I turned, the way forward disappeared behind another door, or simply faded into walls that weren't there before. The footsteps returned, faster now, closer, breathing. I felt cold fingers graze my shoulder. I didn't dare look back. Suddenly, the ground beneath me gave way. I fell through darkness. I landed hard on damp concrete. Pain shot through my leg, but I forced myself to stand. Before me was another corridor, this one darker and narrower. The air smelled of rust and decay. Far ahead, a faint light flickered. I moved toward it, closer. The light was a small window, a view to the outside world. Trees, a cloudy sky, hope. I reached for the window. Then a cold hand clasped my wrist. I spun. A figure stood behind me, pale, gaunt, with eyes like black holes. It whispered, "You belong here now." I screamed and broke free, running toward the light. I slammed through the window and fell into cold, wet grass. I was outside. The office building stood silent behind me, lights flickering. I looked back. The door was gone, but the whisper remained. "We are always watching." I collapsed onto the cold, wet grass, chest heaving as I gasped for real, fresh air. The office building loomed behind me, dark and silent. No sign of the strange door that had trapped me inside that endless nightmare. I was free, or so I thought. That night, as I lay in my bed, the silence should have been a relief. Instead, it was deafening. At first, it was just a faint whisper, almost like the wind brushing past the window. But then I heard it clearly. "Don't run." The same chilling voice from the back room, soft, urgent, impossible to ignore. I sat up, heart pounding. The room was still, the shadows cast by the streetlight outside crawling across my walls. Then I noticed it. The lamp on my nightstand flickered. Not just flickered, blinking in impossible patterns as if trying to communicate. I reached out and turned it off. Silence. I tried to shake it off as my imagination. But over the next few days, the whispers grew louder, always at the edge of hearing, always just out of sight. Things started moving. At first, small objects. My keys shifted on the table, a book slid from the shelf. I would turn away for a moment, and when I looked back, everything was subtly rearranged. The shadows grew longer, darker. The air grew heavier. One night, I woke to a faint scraping sound. My eyes darted around the room, catching the faintest movement in the corner. A silhouette, tall and thin, with eyes like black pits, watching me. I froze. Then the lights flickered violently. The television turned on by itself, crackling with static, whispering my name. "You belong here now." I slammed my eyes shut, praying it was just a nightmare, but the terror was real. Each day, the whispers invaded my mind, seeping into every moment. I could no longer tell where the backrooms ended and my reality began. I'm trapped, not in the endless corridors this time, but inside my own life. A prisoner of a place with no doors, no windows, no escape, because it followed me home, and it's waiting.